The Swapper was created by Facepalm Games, a small studio out of Finland, and was brought to the Wii U with the help of Curve Digital, who are responsible within the last month for publishing 3 games to the Wii U eShop, one of which they developed. The Swapper is set in space, on a spaceship, and it follows in the footsteps of a subgenre of sci-fi storytelling that I happen to find the most captivating. Sci-fi as a genre is one that's excellent for introspection and social commentary, as futuristic technologies and the possibility of extraterrestrials come with some weighty moral and practical issues. This isn't the kind of sci-fi where aliens chase you down a hallway, or where an interstellar master race with far more advanced technologies are undone by their hubris. It's really reminded me in the best way of one of my favourite movies, Moon, which had Kevin Spacey as a robot called Gertie. It's also roughly in the same ballpark as 2001: A Space Odyssey. I won't ruin the story, but it looks at the eerie effects of having a gun that generates clones of yourself and allows you to transmit your consciousness between them and perhaps anything else. It's told in a stripped back way through memory logs and messages from entities referred to as Watchers. The logs and the in-game map are brought up on the Wii U gamepad, which was a nice touch. There's also voice acting, which at times perhaps feels a bit stilted.
The truth is, we're all in danger. Come meet me at Mindsci and I'll explain.
But that may have been entirely intentional and seemed to contribute to the tone they were going for. The Swapper is a puzzle platformer, so you'll spend the majority of your time doing puzzles. The premise for this is simple. You can conjure up to 4 clones of yourself and swap your soul between them with your device. I don't claim to know every puzzle game out there, but the way this worked felt really original. There are modifiers like red lights that prevent you from transmitting your soul and blue lights that prevent you from dropping a clone. They can also mix together, and alongside a number of switches, movable crates and some gravity fuckery, there are enough puzzles to explore the Swapper's mechanics thoroughly. Now, I can't say with certainty that I'm not just an imbecile, but the puzzles were hard. The mechanic to me was new enough that my brain didn't ever just instantly see the solution. It was considerably harder than, say, Teslagrad, which I was far more in tune with and got through much more efficiently. It shouldn't be discouraging, however. I personally felt a real sense of accomplishment on some of the trickier puzzles. The difficulty of the levels helps to mitigate the fact that the game is fairly short, clocking in at under 4 hours. And that's start to finish too, as there isn't anything substantive that you're allowed to miss. From just the controls and aesthetic alone, this game could have been mediocre. However, there are some clear bits of attention to detail alongside the brilliant puzzle concept and intriguing story that make the rougher edges of this lower budget title less abrasive. The lighting does wonders to mask the fairly basic modelling and animation, and the overall oppressive gunmetal grey interior and clinical red and blue lights are offset by a few well-needed breaks and some warmer lighting choices in certain areas. The controls can be a bit sensitive, with your character going from standing to a very brisk walk without any in-between. There were a few occasions where I wanted a gentle touch and ended up running my clone off a ledge and having to restart. Thankfully, the button that summons clones also slows the game down to a crawl, which allows for some advanced soul hopping to speed your movement around the level and to navigate steep falls. The Wii U gamepad is a good fit, and it's nice that you can see all the logs on it. The gamepad is your only option for the controls, and I couldn't find a way to get the map or logs onto the main screen, which seems a pretty daft oversight considering its support. Because of this, I've had to interlace some potato cam for your viewing displeasure. The sound in this game is spot on. Perhaps the ambient noises could have done with a bit more oomph at times, but generally it helps to add a lot to the feeling of isolation, and a very specific kind of eerie mystery that's scary because the answer just might involve an existential crisis. The Swapper is fairly short, and it doesn't throw the story right at your face. To get everything out of it, you'll need to read the logs, and just enjoy the puzzles. It isn't about a big plot twist, and it shouldn't be a race to the end. It's about enjoying the journey, and unravelling what the game wants to talk about. The story, whilst mostly text-based through the logs and watcher messages, is told in an easy to get into way, and the whole premise is a pretty cool thought experiment. Overall, I recommend the Swapper. The price tag is a pretty big ask, but it seems to be an inevitable cost for playing great indie games on the Wii U. There's simply not enough customers to expect Steam-level prices, and ports do take time and money. Between Curve Digital, Facepalm Games and Nintendo, I think we need to be realistic. What the Swapper lacked in length, it made up for in ingenuity, and had a good bash at the subject matter given the constraints. Whilst I found myself wanting more, I'm not sure what I would have wanted more of, and I probably only feel that way because of the price tag. So that's all. Curve Digital also sent me through Lone Survivor and Stealth Inc. 2, so I'll be reviewing those as soon as I can. Also, given the positive reception and nice conversations I got out of my last video, I'll be aiming to get my Might and Magic 7 retrospective done and dusted as soon as I can. But it is a pretty large time commitment, so bear with me. As always, thanks for watching.